Good morning, friends. Today we are going to see further part of electronic measurement systems. And today we are going to see the most important electronic measuring instrument, that is called as CRO. CRO is the most important electronic measuring instrument. It is also a versatile measuring instrument. It produces graphical presentation of signals under testing. It has got a screen on which it shows you the waveform. The block diagram of CRO is shown on the screen. The important part of this block diagram is CRT. CRT stands for cathode ray tube and CRO stands for cathode ray oscilloscope. Now CRT is a vacuum tube which has got an electron gun. It has got an electron gun which produces electron beam. This beam is directed towards the screen with the help of two different types of plates. These plates are called as deflection plates. One is a vertical deflection plate and the other is horizontal deflection plate. Vertical deflection plate can deflect electron beam vertically. Horizontal deflection plate can deflect electron beam horizontally. In order to prepare the waveform properly, the electron beam is moved horizontally and vertically on the screen. In order to get these things done, we have got associated blocks also. Now look at the block diagram. The first thing that we should take note of is it has got two sections, that is a horizontal amplifier section and vertical amplifier section. Basically, when you have two deflection plates, vertical deflection plate and horizontal deflection plate, so one system is working for vertical deflection plate and the other system is working for horizontal deflection plate. So we have this. Let us see first the vertical deflection amplifier. Vertical deflection amplifier, this is, we apply input to vertical deflection vertical amplifier. Vertical amplifier is simply an amplifier which can amplify the signal. So the input that we receive, this input is the signal that we want to show it on the screen. This input is a bit amplified with the help of vertical amplifier. It is called vertical amplifier because it is associated with vertical deflection plates. Okay, now there is a delay line. As name suggests, delay line delays the signal by certain amount in order to prevent loss of information. If we don't use delay line, then there will be some loss of information. That is why, in order to avoid such kind of losses, we have to use a delay line. Then we have a horizontal section in which we have horizontal amplifier. But in horizontal amplifier section, we have three different blocks. Number one is trigger circuit, number two is time based generator, and number three is horizontal amplifier. Let us discuss about time based generator first. Now when we want to prepare the waveform on the screen, we are aware on the x axis we have got time, on y axis we have got voltage or current, that's magnitude. Okay, so what is there on x axis? Time. We have to keep moving this electron beam according to the time settings. If the waveform is very fast, we have to move electron beam very fast horizontally. If the signal is very slow, then you have to move electron beam horizontally very slow. So the information about how fast and slow the signal is, okay, that is captured in the horizontal section on time per division knob. Okay, So the time based generator produces a time sweep. It produces a time sweep. For example, a time sweep of 1 second means your electron beam will take 1 second to move from extreme left to extreme right of the screen. If it is 0.5 second, then it will move from extreme left to extreme right in 0.5 second, and so on. If you keep it on 1 millisecond, it will complete the excursion in 1 millisecond. So the how fast signal is, that is captured with the help of this horizontal section. And in order to move electron beam according to the speed of your signal, we have got time based generator. So time based generator produces a time sweep according to the speed of the signal. Then we have one more thing ahead of time based generator, that is horizontal amplifier. The horizontal amplifier receives input from the time based generator. It amplifies that signal and gives it to the horizontal deflection plates. Okay, the time based generator is driven by a trigger circuit. This trigger circuit not only fades the time based generator, but it also fades the time delay circuit. What trigger circuit does? Basically, what trigger is the DC voltage level that tells the system to start showing the waveform once the signal under consideration crosses this DC voltage. For example, let us consider your signal is of 5 volt. It's rising from 0 volt to 5 volt and again coming back from 5 volt to 0. Okay, and you set your threshold at 3 volt. Okay, now you are aware that your signal will your signal will rise from 0 to 5 volt. Okay, so meanwhile its rise, it will cross 3 volt. As and when your signal becomes 3 volt, your CRO will start showing it. Okay, your CRO will start showing it. If you set the trigger to 2 volt, then your CRO will start showing the waveform from 2 volt onwards. Likewise, you can set it to 0.5 volt, 0.1 volt, 1 millivolt, or so on. Now consider one more case, that your signal is from 0 to 5 volt. Okay, and you set your trigger at 7 volt. Now your signal will never reach to 7 volt because your signal has got strength of only 5 volt. It is not going to reach to 7 volt. That is why your CRO will keep waiting for the signal to cross 7 volt, and until then it will not display your signal. It means that your signal will never reach to 7 volt. That is why it will never show it on the screen. That is the purpose of your trigger. Okay, if you want to see the signal, you should set the trigger within the swing of signal. If you don't want to see the signal, you can set the trigger out of the swing of the signal. That is the purpose of trigger circuit. Now, and this information is necessary for horizontal section also as well as vertical section. That is why the trigger circuit is connected to time based generator as well as delay line. Once trigger circuits expectations are satisfied, then time based generator and delay line works. Otherwise, signal will not be shown on the screen. Apart from that, we have got one more thing in the block diagram, and that is power supply. The power supply contains two sections: high voltage power supply and low voltage power supply. So in why do we require high volt? Because the generation of electron beam requires very high volt, even more than thousands of volts. That is why we need a high voltage supply, and we need low voltage supply for driving rest of the circuitry like amplifiers, delay line, time based generator, etc. So this is your block diagram. Okay, so the central part of block diagram is CRT, that stands for cathode ray tube, and CRO stands for cathode ray oscilloscope. Okay, there are two main sections: horizontal section and vertical section. There are two types of deflection plates, horizontal deflection plate and vertical deflection plate, and you have to write in detail about each of these blocks. Okay, thank you.